So let me start off by thanking everybody for taking their time to join us in this evening's meeting titled Challenges, Concerns, and Solutions. When we look at what's going on now, that is the reduction in the federal government employees being laid off, we look at the possibility of a deep cuts and into programs that was originally and traditionally funded by the federal government. And we're looking at a reduction or downsize of big corporations laying off people, sometimes hundreds, if not thousands, by the day. This could not have been a better time to present this meeting. This is a story of how a nonprofit with no website, no office, and no money in the bank was able to partner with the public and private sector to create economic opportunity for its residents using a resident-driven approach. Tonight, we have people from around the country. We have neighborhood groups, the faith community, businesses, political leaders, nonprofits, and others that have interest in trying to change the narrative in their neighborhoods joining us tonight. We are looking for about 65 to 70 people that will join us from around the country tonight to learn about the West Tampa CDC and our comeback. Coming back from an organization that fell, stood up, and now is about to run again. It is about people, place, and things, and a commitment from residents to not let everything that they've done fall by the wayside. So for those of you who are not in Tampa or are not in the state, let me give you some demographics. The West Tampa CDC encompasses Census Tract 43 and 45 to 48 to 50. As you see, the color-coded map represent each of those census tracts. In some cases, in some of those census tracts, we provide direct service. In other census tracts, we partnership with neighborhood groups in the surrounding area in order to create an economic opportunity that's spread throughout the West Tampa area. The area that we represent consists of 16% of African Americans. When we look at Census Tract 43, based on the latest census, we see a 59% rate in poverty. When we look at Census Tract 50, we see a 32.2% poverty, those that live in poverty. The West Tampa CDC is headed by Dr. Fisher, who's the chairperson, and Joe Robinson, who is the vice chair. Joe is here tonight. He's going to be, because in addition to his role as the vice president for the CDC. Joe also served as the chairperson for the CAC, which is an extension of the CRA in the city of Tampa. Joe has been fighting for the community since forever, and he's been a part of those different groups that are formed to address issues in the community. He's there to make sure that those that come to the community actually represent the community. Everybody in Tampa knows Joe Robinson. You don't want to cross this guy. So let's talk about the West Tampa Community Development Corporation and the vision. Well, the vision is to create a strong and healthy community where changes start from within. I want to emphasize this. Changes start from within. This is truly a bottom-up, community-driven approach to community development. The mission is to serve as a catalyst for socioeconomic, commercial development, housing, and physical revitalization. The methodology used by the West Tampa CDC is known as access mapping. This particular strategy synthesizes 3 community disciplines: neighborhood planning, community organizing, and economic development. So, generally speaking, when you're talking about rebuilding a neighborhood, there's 2 models. The first model is called a need assessment model. We call it the old model. Under the need assessment model, it adheres to an imposed standard. That is, people come in and impose a standard. It is driven by outside agencies. Residents are viewed as program clients, and it continues the outflow of community resources. Our approach, which is an access mapping approach, focuses on existing capacity. It is relationship driven, and it promotes self-sufficiency. Also, and most important, it recycles resources within the community in terms of resources being taken out of the community. So let's talk about how we do what we do. What you're looking at now is our roadmap to success. We use what's known as a community comprehensive, holistic approach to community building. The West Tampa community came together in 1999, looking for a way to improve what they saw as an unhealthy community. The community came together, and that's what brought about the West Tampa CDC. Notice on this map, the head of everything is the community. The West Tampa CDC, the role we play is a 3-part role. First is to connect with other resources. That includes nonprofits, government agencies, the private sector, institutions of higher learning, and others. From there, we develop the strategy. The strategy is holistic, and it focuses on economic development, social development, and physical development. From the strategy comes the program services, which is the last tier on this graph. It includes, when relating to economic development, it includes a business and workforce center. Under social development, it includes a neighborhood center, a youth center, and a family center. And under the physical development, it includes housing and community development. Over the years, we have partnered with individuals from around the city, the state, and the nation. We do what we do because of that partnership that we enjoy with so many different entities. And the entities you're looking at is entities that have been with us from day one. Some are still around, some have since gone away. Now, let's talk about how do we fund the West Tampa CDC? Well, we use what's known as a social entrepreneurship. That is, it's a combination of a combination of earned income, charitable distributions, and public sector subsidies. There are four parts to our thinking. First is inputs, outputs, outcomes, and benefits. In terms of resources, revenues, output, we focus on grants, social media, and fundraising. Fees for services, development fees, consultant fees, and own and operate our own business. We talked earlier about the earned income approach. We're going to talk a little bit later about what we plan to do in terms of bringing online businesses that are owned by the community. In terms of output, that is, where does it go? The program and project, it goes to program, employment program, public safety, community building, etc. In terms of outcome that we plan to bring about, that includes increased employment, increased affordable housing, and the reduction in crime. The benefits that come from our model includes increase a tax base for the city, since part of our strategy is to create resident-owned businesses. It includes reduction of risks to lenders. As a matter of fact, tonight we do have banks that are here listening on this presentation, as well as other types of financial institutions. So what do? We reduce the risk to banks by creating a healthy community. Banks do not like taking risks. So by creating this environment, we reduce the risk to our businesses. Also, we increase the return of investments for investors that's coming to the community. Okay, now let's talk about some of the current projects that we have going on in West Tampa. Later on during the presentation, we'll be talking about updates on all of the programs that's in the West Tampa area, especially those from the CAC. I can say this, that as you know, related to the related group and the partnership we have with the related group, the Tampa Housing Authority, the City of Tampa, the residents of the community, we, based on that partnership or that community benefit agreement that we have put together, the West Tampa CDC will have its physical office, and by the end of the year or by the beginning of next year. Again, we went from no office to a office. Again, that public relationship. So the first thing we're going to be talking about under current projects is the West Tampa Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Curation Center. The other item on the list of current events for the CDC is the West Tampa Public Safety Initiative, using an economic approach to reduce crime in the community by providing opportunities and removing obstacles. And thirdly, update is the West Tampa Community Engagement Initiative. Like what we're doing tonight, to engage the community, keep them engaged, and constantly get input from them. And then finally, initiative that is getting started in West Tampa is the West Tampa Public Safety Initiative, in which we're looking at strategy to increase the health of residents in the West Tampa community. The bulk of the presentation is going to talk about the West Tampa CDC Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Creation Initiative. We have people from around the nation that's really interested in this initiative. The goal of this initiative is to harness the power of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, and the Web3 in a way that provide the tools for residents to create a pathway to success and upward mobility. Let's talk about some of the objectives. One of the objectives is to reduce the impact of gentrification by providing workforce. That is, increasing the earning potential of residents by creating their skill sets, which will lead to high-paying jobs. Artificial intelligence, again, will be used to help us in this respect. The second objective is to enhance public safety by using an economic development approach to deter crime by creating opportunities that remove obstacles and increase hope. This particular strategy right here is something that really impressed the rest of the nation as to what are we doing to reduce crime in the neighborhood. We look at strategies from around the country in terms of best practices. The third thing we want to do is to increase the opportunity for residents to create their own business. We call it generational wealth. And then the fourth thing is to move from a community that focus on being a consumer to communities that focus on investment, using their money to make their money work for them. In other words, moving from a street mindset to a Wall Street mindset. We also using artificial intelligence to improve the success rate of students attending failing schools, or students that's falling back by providing them with an artificial intelligent tutor that can assess what their needs are, their weakness, and develop their strengths. There will be no kids failing in West Tampa. And the sixth thing is using artificial intelligence to reduce labor costs and increase profits. By doing this, the West Tampa CDC models looks at how to do the least in terms of staff with the most by using artificial intelligence to act as staff. The first program under the Technology Center is called our Assets Mapping and Clearing Network. This will be a portal, I cannot pronounce it. This will be a link that will connect residents to jobs online. The assets mapping is the process of identifying the resources, skills, and capacity of individuals. This includes mapping businesses and business opportunity, connect residents with economic opportunities, match residents with skill sets with potential employer opportunities, mass communities designed for businesses with land use. We've met so many people in the community that want different types of business to come to the neighborhood. How do we use that land use to bring that about? And then finally, the mass businesses with potential businesses opportunity. This network of a resident can access it by way of the internet. And if they're looking for a job, they can come here to find a job. If they're a business looking for potential customers, they can come here and they can find specific customers. Again, this is our asset mapping and clearing network. The Technology Center. This is where we building an understanding of artificial intelligence, chat GPT, and the Web3. In essence, we're creating a technological conscientious community. One of the ways we're doing this is by providing training to residents in the following area. First, connecting students with artificial intelligence accessibility. The idea being that there will be no student left behind in West Tampa, because if they will be matched with an artificial intelligence tutor that can map their weaknesses, their strength, and plan a course accordingly. There will be no student failing in West Tampa. We talk about health. The other thing we're using health artificial intelligence for is to improve the health outcomes of people that live in the West Tampa community, improving their quality of health by being able to assess the best possible solution to their health needs, as opposed to limited to only what their doctor shared with them. They would, in fact, know more than their doctors in assessing this artificial intelligence. The fourth thing that we plan to bring about through the Technology Center is using AI to tap into detailed information on any topic. If a person wants to learn how to do something, they can come here and be able to do that. For example, how to do a business plan, how to do a project program. All these things will be accessible to people by way of technology and any subject matter, be it personal, financial, or anything, by using artificial intelligence. The fifth thing we're looking at is Technology 101, providing residents with a keen understanding of how to use technology for productivity and efficiency. In addition to using artificial intelligence, technology, if you don't understand technology, it's like being a dinosaur. We're going to learn residents how to use technology to improve the quality of their life. The Web3, which is going to change the narrative when it comes to economic opportunity. The Web3, we want to talk about blockchains and other financial initiative that folks can use to create a business, learn about crypto and those other types of electronic DeFi types of monies. What is going to be a game changer is that residents, especially young people, will learn how to create web applications, game applications, mobile applications, coding, software development, etc., to change the narrative. This will be the first community in Florida, if not the nation, that looks at creating opportunities that will lead to high paid jobs using technology. like how to create game application. It's going to be a game changer, and we hope to create our first millionaire out of this program. The other thing, and finally, is position the community in order to get high-paying jobs. This next program coming out of the Technology Wealth Building Center is the Performing Art and Production Center. This is part of our public safety initiative to reduce crime by attracting the at-risk youth to put down the gun and to pick up the mic. We plan to use this initiative to attract, excite, educate, and transform that young person's mind using the arts to attract them. The different types of programs include a recording studio, video/TV production, radio production, entertainment center. Keep in mind, with artificial intelligence, all you need is a room in order to create this technology center. We plan to monetize those talents that especially the young have and connecting them to the dollars. For example, you got young people that are good at writing poems, that we can connect them to a business or to an individual that wants a specialized poem for their special person. For businesses, these young people can create jingles for that business. If you are a husband looking to do something special for your wife and you want to create a special poem or play, these young people will be able to do that. This is the way that they're going to bring in money, by being able to use that talent in order to personalize individual videos target at families, individual friends, businesses, etc. This will reduce the impact that crime has had on our community, and it will be little or no money to get started and to form. Since we'll be using artificial intelligence, the young people can create their own rap, own music, and whatever the case might be. Next is the home-based e-commerce initiative, in which we're looking at bringing together and creating jobs from anywhere from 30 to 45 new resident-owned businesses within the next 5 years. The services that we plan to provide is working with them to create their business plan. And as you know, West Tampa CDC has a history of working with residents and creating their own business plan. In addition to that, connecting them with micro loans, operational plans, and networking. The two parts to this plan is e-commerce, in which residents will learn how to use drop shopping, Shopify. They'll be able to create online stores, YouTube channels, blogging, and all those things that can increase that opportunity to bring in extra money. Especially for someone that loves to sell things, they can create their own store using drop shopping and Shopify. They don't even have to have a warehouse. They can connect the individual to the warehouse. The home-based business side of the table is looking at monetizing residents' talent for them to start their own home-based business. And as you know, the cost to start a home-based business is cheaper than it is to start a brick and modal type of business. Some of the home-based business includes cleaning service, landscaping, cake making, homemade products. I know people that can make soap, etc. Pack grooming, that's by going out and cleaning paths. West Tampa have a lot of new people coming here, and they have a lot of animals. In addition to digital products. This is just talking about some of the home-based businesses, including starting your own Harlem businesses that can get started. The focus of this, and again, we're going through some economic crisis, is to work with and help senior citizens, at-risk youth, the low income, people with criminal records, the disabled, and other, in order to increase their economic status. As we talked about matching businesses with potential customers to create full-time and part-time jobs, and especially to create opportunity for people that's on fixed income in order to get an income for them to survive during these troubled times that we're looking at. Matching businesses with potential customers. We talked about that earlier when we talked about the West Tampa Clearing House. Community Wealth Center. The Community Wealth Center plans to move residents from thinking like a consumer to thinking like an investor. With young people starting at the age of 9 and up, we'll be teaching those residents how to make their money work for them. There's all kinds of softwares that we plan to use in addition to artificial intelligence to help us to accomplish this. The next thing related to the Wealth Center is creating investment groups where residents can put their dollars together to go after stocks and bonds and other kind of financial instruments that bring their money back. So instead of being a consumer, they become an investor, and they collectively bring their money together through investment clubs. This will be an in-depth workshop on understanding investments and building a foundation that leads to good investment, making your money work for you. I'm really looking forward to this as we begin to move from being consumers to being investors to make our money work for us. This will be another first relating to the state of Florida, relating to a community-based approach to changing the narrative. So how do we plan to get the money? Well, you have the chart that you have in front of you breaks down projects, startup costs, and funding sources. Forgive me if I'm spelling these words incorrectly. The Technology Center, which is hovering around $65,000 as a startup cost. What the funding sources include tech companies, foundation, corporation, governments, and others. The Performing Arts and Production Center, which is looking at $75,000, is looking at bringing in money from the hip-hop world, entertainers, foundation, corporation, the government, and others. The Business Development Center and the Home-Based Center, we're talking about $70,000. Monies will come from lenders, investors, foundation, corporations, foundation, as well as fundraising and other types of initiatives. The Community Wealth Center is looking at $150,000 to create at least 3 different types of businesses that will create revenue and make us financially sustainable. Again, we're looking at investors, lenders, foundation, corporation, government funding, and fundraising, and others. We've already been approached with an interest from lenders that's interested in our Business Development Center and our Community Wealth Center because it means potential business for them. So, what are our next steps? Well, we plan to finalize our tools for success. That is our theory of change, our logic model, and our SWOT analogy. We're going to update our operational and strategic plan from 2024 to 2030. Create a professional business plan. We're going to be holding community meetings, having focus groups, and think tanks in order to pull the collective thoughts as to where do we go from here and how can we do it better by having the best and most talented individuals from the community that's part of that think tank. We also plan to network in partnership with other nonprofits. Community surveys. You probably have received a community survey from us at some point. These community surveys, and they tend to be online surveys, allow us to get input from you as residents as to what you want to see as what you want to see as what success look like in your community. The present plan that we have, we're going to preview it before the city council, community commissioner, county commissioner, planning commissioner, investors, lenders, funders, developers, and the faith community. We also plan to identify additional resources needed to implement the initiative. We've started to meet with developers, investors, lenders, and political leaders. We also are meeting with the faith community as well as other civic and nonprofit organizations to take it to the next level. I take my hat off to residents in West Tampa, refusing to give up and believing that the pathway to success is by falling down and getting back up again.